That works.
It's working.
Bob's is working.
Yeah.
That was mine.
Even after I sing you that cute little song?
Can we stream that here? Can we show it? There's got to be a way.
Did you offer people cake?
Oh, no, I did not.
Oh, social skills to
Bobby did.
Oh, good. I told them that it was there. Oh, look, Lord, you won't have to see everything. This is nice.
wait a minute, I want my chair back.
I know.
Everything's working now, Bobby.
Is that coming?
No, he's not going to come.
Okay. Then I'm ready.
You are?
Yep.
I think I'm going. Yeah. Bob, why don't we have an introduction of everyone, too,
Okay.
as part of the...
We have maintenance and contractors in the back trying to fix that heat pump, so
Oh,
they'll be trying to work that out.
not part of the meeting.
Probably not.
All right.
So, good afternoon. Welcome to the meeting with the county commissioners and the city of Lakeside, talking about ATV access and whatever else. And I'm Bob Main, the county commissioner, Commissioner Cribbins, Commissioner Sweet, our executive person, Bobby Brooks, our roadmaster, John Rowe, slash
Public Works.
solid waste,
Public
slash
Works Director.
public works, slash parks, slash everything else. And I know James Edwards, and the new interim temporary,
No,
whatever
I'm
you say? Permanent?
permanent. Yeah.
Oh, now you're permanent.
Yeah, Lori Price, city manager.
Lori.
Yeah.
And back in the back,
Jim Talon, resident of Lakeside.
okay.
Renee Town.
Shirley Benell.
Uh-huh.
Alicia Douglas.
Okay, welcome, everybody. So you want to start, James?
Yes,
By the
I
way,
will.
James and I have known each other forever, since first grade at Lakeside.
Yep, a long time, Bob, so. And I'm going to, if you bear with me, I'm going to read off my notes here, once I get
Okay.
my phone to open.
Well, I'd like to jump in real quick and just
Sure.
thank all of you for taking the time to set up a meeting on this and other subjects. And starting a new year, I thought it's a good time to meet and communicate and look forward to other opportunities. And we had a letter sent with a couple other ideas for improvements in Lakeside that we're
Mhm.
excited about as
Okay.
well. So great.
You may have to get closer to that mic there. It
Oh, okay.
doesn't pick up very well.
All right, so good afternoon, commissioners, and thank you once again for your time. And I wish you a better year in '21 than we had in 2020. So I just want to take a few minutes to address some thoughts I had on our city. One moment, please. So as we know, the 2020 was a bad year for all of us, and to the point where Lakeside is almost dying on the vine. As a community, we have lost all of our events, and it may take several years to recover if we ever do. Our few businesses are on the verge of closing their doors, including the Lakeshore Lodge, which is a landmark business in Lakeside. We are one of seven incorporated communities in Coos County, but by far the most disadvantaged. All other cities in the county have a permanent city tax base, their own law enforcement, the access to certain grants that we do not. So for that reason, we are in the position of seeking help from other sources. Really, the only draw to Lakeside for tourists is 10 Mile Lake, which has lost a certain degree of its recreational and economic value due to the condition of the water quality. That's why the ATV issue is so important to us, as it represents an opportunity to help us recover and survive. Citywide use is on the ballot for ATVs, and I believe will be on the ballot for May for use on our city streets. But in the event it fails, it is important for Osprey Point to have access to the route. So that's why I sent that letter asking you to reconsider, and again, apologizing profusely for not having you guys in the conversation in the beginning of this whole process. We looked on Google Earth, and we believe that there may be, if you guys think about it, a direct route through a fence by removing a portion of the fence from Osprey Point directly onto Park Avenue. And so that's what we would like to propose. And if it were to be a direct route to Park Avenue, it would prevent any concerns about people running all over the park on their ATVs. So the other option would be to open North Lake Road strictly for access to Osprey Point, but I really don't want to see that happen if we can avoid it, because North Lake Road has many people that live up on the lake, and in the summertime that's the highest traveled road in the city of Lakeside. So I think it would be to our advantage to have the access road go through the park.
Can I add on to that?
Please do.
Okay, well, as James was saying, when this measure got approved on the ballot, and it was just for the access route, and having met with John and hearing his concerns about the park, and this could cause damage to the park. So James, Mayor Edwards, came up with what might be a way to mitigate any of those concerns, where if we, instead of maybe consider having them go straight through the park, there's a way, like on the northerly fence line, that we might be able to have like a fenced access route to the access route to make it where we can avoid having ATVs on North Lake. And the reason that the mayor's concerned about North Lake access is because there's a lot of people that live 700 homes down there, and there's more traffic. And that we had a vote for a route, and we don't want to go back to the people that voted in our city and tell them, oh, we're going to change the route. It just doesn't look good. And so if there's anything we could do, and again, hearing John's concerns about park impacts, I see that Osprey Resort is one of our biggest employers in town. It brings in transient occupancy taxes, and there's a lot of interest in riding from there to the dunes, that maybe we could find a way that we could work something out with this, is what we're hoping for.
Do you have a picture that could show us what you're looking at?
So you're talking about the north side of the shop that's next to the
Yes.
caretaker's
In that
house.
area, yes, John.
I've been on the side of the shop, and there's only a few feet there between that and the fence line for the neighbors.
Well, we're looking at, I'm a civil engineer. I can probably I haven't estimated it or but if you're interested in this further dialogue, we can come back with a map and with some, costs, and maybe see if there's participation, involvement from Osprey or other ideas to make it so that we're not impacting the park, and that we're creating an opportunity in Lakeside for more shopping in town and more access to and from the dunes.
And if I may, as I said, I've heard some discussion about putting it on the ballot for citywide in May. So if that does happen and does pass, then this will be a moot point. But in the event that it fails, and since Osprey Point is a major destination point, as was evidenced by the ATV takeover in October, there were dozens of those things riding down North Lake Road, thinking it was the route, but it wasn't. But until your deputy came and put a stop to it, so. So it's pretty evident that Osprey Point does draw a lot of the ATV users. And it would benefit them to have the access to the route in the event if it does go back on the ballot and it fails, then the route has been approved by the citizens of Lakeside. So.
Well, so, I mean, if we're gonna have this conversation, I have my laptop open, I have the Google Earth map up. Do you wanna come up here and show us where you would put it? 'Cause I don't.
Sure.
It's not a touchscreen. No, it's okay. No, my husband does the same thing.
Of course, he doesn't have the right hand.
Okay, where's Osprey Point?
Anymore.
Maybe I'm-
Osprey Point is
Right.
this
Right
way.
here, okay.
And so this is the county park over here.
Okay, so what we're thinking is there might be a way to come around.
I just don't see it. I mean, that's the shop right
You
there.
may wanna go see, but I don't think there's enough room there.
So, Mayor Evans, you went out with, Dennis took another look at that too, right?
I didn't go look, but Ken Ireland was going to go look at it. And Alan Pointer brought it up on Google Earth one day while he and I were sitting in the chambers, and he said to him, it looked like there was it would only take, a 12-foot section
What is this
to
building?
ride those things through there.
It's the county's maintenance building. Yeah.
That's the shop right there.
How much do we use
John, you're
that,
welcome to
John?
come over here and look at this
Yeah,
too.
I'm looking at it online.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was helpful to have us all look at the same one. I mean,
Well, maybe this would be one where we
Can't.
could go out
I can't cast it up there easily.
We could do that.
and look at opportunities. If the shop is in the way, maybe there's something we can create that buffers and doesn't impact operations downtown.
You got the caretaker right there though, so. You got the new fence right here. I just don't know if there's anything behind the shop to get through there.
And your neighbors, what would they, are we gonna impact? I mean, if there were room,
We'd have to see where those fences are, they probably have to clear some of those trees
Yeah.
to get down through there.
I mean, it seems to me that we're dancing around and trying to figure out a way to avoid something where there's a road already there. I realize you guys don't wanna go around North Lake, but North Lake is already there, it's already a road performing a road function,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
so.
Well,
I don't know.
and on that thought, what if, another idea,
Sure.
what if the gate that's there now that's not wide enough, it's only, pedestrian access from Osprey?
Just down here.
Yeah, what if we pave that?
Well, it's not a matter of paving it, it's just the matter of.
We don't want ATVs.
We don't want that, you know.
We don't wanna be a throughway.
Yeah, so that would turn the park into, and so people come there in part for a lake experience. And just by virtue of opening up our
Oh,
park
You
to
can turn it in.
ATVs, that experience is going to be somewhat reduced, I think. But if
We would like
if they
to,
came through on the lake end, then the ATVs have to run right through the middle of our park. There's just no way.
Right.
Okay.
See, it would be here, is where that gate is.
and then of course there's safety issues that raised for me at that point because
Yeah.
we have children on the beach and, families on the beach, and if you have ATVs coming through that area, at some point you're gonna have ATVs going to the
See, and
sand.
we have plans, not well defined yet, but perhaps to create some more ATV slots in here for big RVs that on a pull-through.
RV spots,
basis.
not ATV
Okay.
spots.
Yeah, RV spots. So, I mean, this
Yeah, in the
we
middle.
hope to
Develop and
develop.
the pull-throughs.
Have you guys already talked about like what the county's vision is for the park? Because I mean, that is part of it, is we do see this park as becoming a bigger revenue generator for you because you get transient lodging tax money from it. So what we don't want to do is do anything with the park where, it loses its value in order to service another adjoining property.
We
So-
haven't done a lot of
Well,
visioning
our
in this
thought is
park.
now to put pull-throughs and then have about the same amount of spots.
Yeah.
And then delete some of the spots that are only 20 feet apart to make those camping spots bigger.
Right.
So that's kind of the idea. We
To
got-
make it a more attractive place to
More
camp,
More attractive
basically.
place.
And then all the landscaping and stuff.
Yeah.
gonna do, that we're gonna start this year
Okay.
doing.
Do plantings, cut the wind down in the summertime.
Yeah, and then space out these spots so that people are right on top of each other. Make it a more attractive experience. I don't know if we
Right now, they're only
shared
on
that
20-foot centers.
Right.
I mean, you can almost sit in your bench and turn around and ask somebody for a cup of coffee. That's how close they are. I mean, so,
But one of our one
That's
of our
friendly,
major
John.
sources of revenue is we get a share of RV registration or licensing fees each year. Each of those RV spots generates revenue to us, whether then if there's an RV in it, it creates additional
Generates
revenue.
even more revenue.
But,
Right, yeah.
but if we start eliminating those, and so it's not something we really want to fix it up, but we have to live within the budget.
Sure.
And to really do it nicely, we're going to have to take away some of our revenue. But I think we're willing to do that in order to make it a nicer place that will get more use. And so that's kind of where we are. It isn't going to happen. We got a couple other projects that are kind of ahead of this in priority.
and I do
and in
have somebody
affordability.
interested in asphalt, grinding it out.
But
Oh, really?
it is
Oh,
in the
nice.
back of our minds to make that a much more attractive. To me, you might as well take your RV out on the tarmac at North Bend Airport. The experience would be about the same.
Yeah,
Not
well,
perfect, but we can make that better.
well, the city certainly appreciates you guys doing everything you can to make that a more enjoyable place for people to come, because it's kind of how many acres do you have there? Over 25 acres or so? That is pretty much unutilized at this time, so.
I would guess it's
Yeah,
that.
I can look it up. I forget.
Yeah, I think it's great that you're looking at plans to increase its value, so. So, moving on to other issues, we as you know, I'm sure you know by now, that we have a grant to improve the railroad crossing, and that'll be a major improvement to the city of Lakeside. I do have a coffee with the mayor's session every Monday morning at the lodge before I go to work down there at City Hall. And I've had people come, more than one person come and address the potholes on North 8th Street, which I believe John is looking at addressing also, which is, I've had people come and say that so rough coming in and out of town along North 8th that it's almost unbearable, so.
It's the manholes that.
The manholes,
They're
yeah.
10 years old now, and the AC's given away. There's 22 of them. So,
Well,
Yeah.
we were able to modify our SCA grant to include fixing those all the way down the way. Hopefully we'll have enough money to do all of it, because
Oh,
the
wow.
grant was mainly for the railroad crossing.
yeah, I've been out there with Dennis, and we've looked at it, so.
Yeah.
But the manholes, I'll probably do that this year. It's probably gonna be a $30,000 to $35,000 project just to do those, to get them dug out and poured back in concrete.
Well, if we could work together with you, we may be able to help pitch in for that because of the grant, including that in their scope.
Yeah, he was talking about extending the paving a little bit down the railroad and back up.
Yeah,
a
that's the
little bit,
original
so-
grant, but then I added the manholes and how people are jogging around them, and it
Yeah.
creates
Well,
a safety
I'll
issue.
have to talk to you on that then, so we can do it together then.
Have you also discussed the bike/walking path funding that we have maybe could be applied to North 8th?
Well, I already got, right now, that is a designated bike path,
Mhm.
both sides of it. That's how that job got widened back in 1999, I think it was, or something like that, 1998. They got the funding from the state to widen that for or for bicycles.
Oh, is that this?
That's when they did that.
Right.
Dyer Partnership was the engineer on it, so.
Uh-huh. Is that for this fiscal year or next?
No, that's when they had
It's already done.
8th
Oh,
Street
okay.
widened for.
Okay.
so. Then 10 years ago, the county repaved it and readjusted the manholes, and they just didn't last.
Oh, okay, I heard North Lake, and that was another project that we had
Yeah.
on our radar to expand a
Yeah, you
path
had North
down.
Lake, you wanted to do something from 8th Street to 11th Street.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's something I would really like to pursue if it's at all possible. I understand it may be possible through a STIP grant, according to ODOT representatives, that we could improve North Lake Road, the sidewalks in front of City Hall, and all that down to 11th Street, and maybe continue a pedestrian path all the way down to the canal, so. And maybe we can have more conversations about that in this year. I know I've been talking to
That
Bob
can only be
about it.
on one side of the road too. You got a ditch on the north side.
Right, yeah.
So you're
It'd
only
have to be
talking
on-
about the south side of the 8th, or
Mhm.
North Lake, I mean,
Yeah.
So putting in a sidewalk and curbing.
Yeah.
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 We've got some cross sections drawn up on how it would look like for a future grant, but since we don't qualify for STIP funding on our own, I was hoping that we could participate together and,
And Right
under-
now, our STP funding is pretty well spent for the next 2 years on projects that got planned, so.
Yeah.
it-
But it would be nice to have that really dressed up.
It would, Bob, yeah.
It would make the city look much nicer.
It would. It'd be a major improvement in the city of
Yeah.
Lakeside. It would.
When we did the 8th Street, we put in the new paving overlay and the curbs, gutters, sidewalks, and the state-of-art LEDs, that made a huge difference. And the next phase would be going down North Lake Avenue, and really be a benefit, I think.
yeah,
It would, yeah.
I don't know if we can use our STP funds on that, because that's on our roads, part of our major collectors.
But-
STP funds.
But
It's dedicated to
To-
county maintained major collectors.
But I have talked to Dennis Langley, our public works guy, about that project, and he would be willing to put his $100,000 SEA grant towards that project, if that would be something we could work
And you
together.
might be able, if we did from 15th Street, which is ours, down to the bridge,
Yeah.
if you just widen the road 5 feet and pave it and put a 8-inch fog line or stripe down there and mark it for pedestrians or whatever.
Sure.
That'd be the way to do it instead of sidewalks. Be a lot cheaper to do that.
well, I have my eye out for grants besides the STIP grant. Because I think having that there's 2 recreational areas, County Park and Osprey, that could bring people into town, I think it sells a lot more for a grant that you're creating, you know, vibrancy into town and opportunities for people to walk and bike and,
have you
Well,
talked
I
to
agree,
Dee
that's
at
why the
North Lake?
county spent money on 8th Street. I mean, needed
She
it.
has been in, oh, sorry, John, go ahead.
I was gonna say, that's why we invested in 8th Street. We put in all the new sidewalks and angle parking and stuff, because it needed it.
yeah.
So,
It
and
looks
we
good.
overlaid, only work we haven't done is on Airport Way yet, so.
Yeah.
But
Talk to Dee.
Dee at North Lake Resort? See how
Yes.
she feels?
Yeah, I talked to her today,
Oh, okay.
actually.
Yeah.
She's okay with all of this, too?
Not really, no.
Oh.
She's not.
Okay.
What is she not okay with?
Why-
Precisely.
I don't understand why not, but she must have her own reasons.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's her personal opinion, and she's, you know, she has a right to her opinion, so.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to her, I guess. and
Yeah,
She's on the TLBP board with me.
right.
Mhm.
Well, as you know, you can't make everybody happy with the things we have to do. And to bring our part of the conversation to a close, I just want to point out that we are elected officials, and Lori's our city manager, and it's our duty to do all we can to improve the city of Lakeside while we're there. And that's our goal, that's my goal at least, to leave it a little bit better than what it was before I came here, so.
So if I understand it right, you're talking about having, for the May ballot, approval for North Lake Avenue for ATVs to 15th Street?
No,
From North-
for citywide.
Oh,
That
citywide.
that is what people are
Oh,
proposing.
okay.
So that would include North Lake Road. It would open
Oh,
all
sure.
streets.
It would be everything, of course.
It would open all streets in the city of Lakeside.
Okay.
I'm getting word from people in the community, that's what they would like to do, is have it put on the ballot in May, so.
So that would preclude having, in your letter, you were talking about having locals stage at the county park.
Yeah, it would just, everything.
They wouldn't have to.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to do anything.
And then I suggested back, why not stage behind City Hall there, which has access to Park Street?
Yep,
We need
and-
some gravel because it's just grass at the moment.
Yeah. Yep, there's been all kinds of discussions about things such as that, Bob, even including building an RV park in the field back there.
Well, yeah, income for the
Right,
city.
you could have a marina there too.
Would be an income source eventually.
It would be, yeah.
After you got it paid off, yeah.
It would be, yeah, which we
Unless you
could
got
use.
grants for it.
You could sort of use, but anyway,
Mhm.
that, I don't expect that would ever
You
happen.
have the
but
sewer capacity.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that brings up another, it does bring up another point, you know, the closure of Shutter Creek. Boy, that's gonna hurt us in a bad way if it
Mhm.
goes through, as you know. That's-
Yeah.
yeah.
I went to the clerk's office the last time this happened and looked up the deed. It's interesting that the deed has that if they cannot lease anything, they can't do anything with Shutter Creek other than have it as a correctional facility.
Yep.
Anything else that they might do is cause for breach of the lease, which would revert back to the federal government.
Yeah.
So
And
I
that would
sent
include,
a copy of that deed to Representative Boomer,
Mhm.
Representative Dave Brock Smith, Representative Leaf, our senators in the area, et cetera, as well as to the aide for the governor. Hopefully that might make a little difference,
yeah, I hope so.
because they're in danger of losing that site. And it also affects us.
Sure it
Because
does.
that's where our 911 hub center is. For our whole radio system is up there
Yeah,
for the North County. And we're right now trying to get a hold of the federal government to find out whether we can get a lease from them on that site if something goes sideways with the state. Captain Fabrizio is working on it as we speak.
good.
So,
It's gonna have a huge impact on the whole south coast if they
Mhm.
close that down.
mhm.
Anything else, Lori?
I would hope they would reconsider though, the
I do,
governor
we
would.
do too, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I guess closing the loop on the ATV discussion, I can come back with an exhibit and maybe meet with John and see about an access route, and then
Sure.
if that might be the,
Mhm.
and I appreciate hearing it straight from you, because I didn't quite understand, you know, the communication's really important to me. I didn't, hearing it now and what your plans are makes it more clear
Mhm.
that why you wouldn't want access, but if we can mitigate it and
Mhm.
have a plan that's,
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? You're on the phone and it's coming through your comments, so would you hold the comments for a minute, please? Anybody in the audience like to comment? Yes, sir, come on up, turn the mic on up there if you would, please. I don't know if it's on or not.
Test.
Yeah, it's
I
on.
think I'm loud enough anyways. Jim Towan, I live on North Lake. I guess I'm not a resident of the city limits of Lakeside, but I do live on North Lake, and actually bought Mary's Beauty Shop building on the corner of 8th Street there in Park. Active member of the community, been in the TLA, have helped out around town a lot. I'm interested in everything going on, including what you guys are going through here in Coos County. It's obviously a very important part of our little city of Lakeside. I do think that the county park has been underutilized, and I'm actually surprised at how little it's utilized. I noticed that you guys have planted trees, and it looks like some of them haven't been watered and they've died. It seems like a big open parking lot, And I understand that there wasn't a big draw in town, there were better places for people to go. It was kind of like an overflow camping area in my mind. I do think that with our ATV ordinance passing, that we're gonna see a lot more use out of that county park. You guys will, we will. And I think that to help that along, it's refreshing to hear you guys have plans for it. I think that's a great idea. And I think everyone's gonna be surprised at how many people are staying at the county park this year and in years coming. Osprey Point has already been brought up, is a vital business in our city. I do think that we have to have access to ATVs there, or we're gonna have people breaking the law. Because if we have ATVs in town, they're gonna go. And they'll say, I'll take a chance for 2 blocks, it's crazy, you know? So it'd be weird to give people tickets that they can ride all the way to the dunes into Lakeside and can't use one of our biggest businesses. So however that gets done, I think it has to be done. I would love to be able to see ATVs. Now, I haven't brought this up with Mayor Edwards or Lori, but it is something that will be brought up, is that if we have ATV access from the dunes all the way into the town of Lakeside, it seems that it's only reasonable that if it goes to Osprey, that ATVs will be allowed into the Elliott State Forest. They are allowed if you trailer up in there. And you can go crazy up in, and I haven't heard any problems with it. People love the forest. I've been up there and I love it. It's beautiful, great recreation area. So it just seems like we're doing baby steps, which are necessary to do. And I'm thrilled that we have ATVs in our town. I think it is gonna help the town. I think that this year, we're gonna see an improvement. Following years, it's gonna explode, I think, and it's almost careful what you wish for. I understand there's gonna be problems. We're gonna have to adjust things, and we're all gonna have to work together on it, which we're willing to do. But I wanna thank you guys for helping care about our city, and look forward to working with you guys and having you guys help us get proper access for ATVs and tourist dollars for our town. So thank you guys for your help. Appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I may add just a little to Jim's comments, the city of Lakeside is in a really very unique position where we're the only city on the Oregon coast that has direct access to the dunes. No other city on the coast does. Florence, you can't do it through Florence because they have a major state highway running through their town. So, and watching the results of the initial opening of this route, there were really no major problems whatsoever. I was very impressed with how it actually worked. And so, and I know people were concerned there were going to be hundreds of ATVs all over the streets all summer long, but there weren't. I mean, it went rather smoothly and with no major problems that anybody observed. So.
I'm glad to hear that. That's good.
I think Ms. Bunnell, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, if I remember right.
I'm Shirley Bunnell, a Lakeside resident, and I helped to organize a group of Lakeside riders and the lovely ladies of Lakeside volunteers. And we were pretty impressed with our big list of things that we got accomplished in such a short time of being afforded the opportunity of the route. We really look forward to the great things it's going to bring to the community. And my concern with cutting a hole in the fence is that I post in lots of riding groups and invite people to the county campground and share the link all the time. I get messaged almost daily about where can we stay on the route in your town. For me to try to explain to visitors that you go to the county park but go through the fence to access this other business would definitely cause some confusion to already, at times it seems confusing to some route. And if they're proposing to go on the ballot for citywide in 5 months, what would be the problem with these 2 blocks being added now? If there's this huge concern about all the traffic it's gonna be on North Lake Road, that same concern would be applied then going through the county park, I would assume, past a county campground Coos Park that doesn't really seem too inviting to many of the ATVers, have been quite abruptly stopped at the entrance, and I feel like cutting a hole in the fence to allowing all businesses the opportunity that the route is providing, which is increased in sales. And almost every business on the route will attest to that. Excluding one business that wants to be included in that is discriminatory, but allowing them access through a hole in the fence would be really difficult for me to explain to visitors and to residents. And so I encourage us to think about that as we move forward, trying to make some kind of agreement or try to make it a fair route or whatever it is, that we take into consideration the logistics of explaining it. If it's gonna be citywide on a ballot in 5 months, the city must not be too opposed to allowing citywide. Why would we be opposed to 2 blocks right now? And so I encourage you to.
You know, I'm losing you here a little bit because I'm not understanding. I don't think we are the ones that are holding up riding down whatever, the
North
North Lake Avenue.
North
Right.
Lake Avenue. We're not, we are concerned about a hole in the fence.
Right, I'm agreeing with that.
So,
concern,
okay,
I suppose.
good. I didn't, yeah.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with that.
And I don't think
concern. It would be
we
very
have as
difficult
much to
for me
say as you
explain
have to
that
say about,
visitors how to do it, how to access
Yeah.
Osprey through a hole in the fence.
so.
Yeah.
Actually, it would be about 7 blocks.
Well,
From
my,
8th Street to between 14th and 15th Street to Osprey. You
My
might as well go to
problem-
15th Street, which is
Do
city
whatever.
limits.
so my problem is that if we do this, you know, haven't you ever like tried to solve a problem and inadvertently create a whole new set? And that's what I worry that we would do. Because you would have neighbors along that side.
We mean on
That would-
North Lake?
Huh?
On North Lake?
No, if you cut, you
Oh,
know, a
behind
route.
the shop building?
Behind the shop, you're gonna
Okay,
have
I'm
neighbors
with you.
along there that are now suddenly going to be exposed to
Mhm.
noise that they never expected to be exposed to.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna have to talk to those neighbors and figure out how that's okay for them. Isn't there another business down at the end of, is that North Lake Resort, down at the
Yes,
other end?
Down to by the bridge. Yeah.
Right,
Mhm.
I mean, and they may not want access right now, but they may want access, I mean, once Osprey Point starts having access, they may change their mind and decide they want access.
Mhm. Seems like
I
the
just think
logical
it's messy.
choice would be North Lake Avenue, just
Right.
have it open.
Well, I think,
Is
well,
part of the concern running in front of the city hall though?
no,
No, not at all.
uh-uh.
It's,
But I'm thinking somehow we could partner together and get grants to improve North Lake, either widening or sidewalks and curbs and even streetlights, stuff, make it look much nicer.
I
That
think-
would be a goal, I would hope.
I think what we're just trying to keep options open because we didn't get approval for citywide ATV use on the last ballot. So if it doesn't get approved in May, you know, what else can we do if there's the route and that got approved and the citywide doesn't, and modifying the route that was approved creates a tension in the community for those that weren't in favor of ATV use. So it's really just trying to keep ideas open
Mhm.
rather than,
Well, one concern I would have is if there are people, and there must be people that aren't wild about having ATVs running down North Lake.
Yes.
right? And if we, but I think pretty much everyone in this room, if I'm understanding them correctly, is favoring having access down North Lake Boulevard. Now, if we, at this meeting, or day after tomorrow, or next week, or any time between now and May, think, well, don't worry about that because we have an alternate route available to you, I think it may make it more difficult for you to get voter approval. And so I just want to go on record in saying that, you know, I'm being a little bit selfish, but I think what benefits our park ultimately will benefit Lakeside. I am dead set against having a hole in the fence and having a parking arena there where people from Lakeside can bring their ATVs so that, by trailer, and then get on them and go to the sand dunes. And I'd like to go on record as being that, and I'm hoping I'm not being negative to Lakeside's best interest, but I think it's a step in the right direction to do that. And if we have alternatives, you're not likely to get that passed, or it may jeopardize your getting it passed.
So in the fall ballot, the current route passed, and if I remember correctly, the citywide wasn't that far apart. So what I'm thinking is, if people have observed how inconsequential it is now, the people who were in the slight majority against might warm up to it. And that might be something you could actively promote, put in with the sewer bill or something like that, how much it's added to the commerce of the city of Lakeside, those sort of things. Have a bit of promotion about positives of this thing. I probably wouldn't talk about maybe a route through the county park behind the shop building, which would be pretty narrow. I don't even know if it fit at this point, but if I remember right, they wouldn't even fit.
And if it did, it would be in someone else's backyard.
Yeah, that would cause issues, but for me, I wouldn't even bring that up when you're going for a vote.
Yeah, but if we open North Lake Road, it'll be in people's front yard, because there are
Well,
several people along North Lake
You
Road.
already have vehicle
It's a
and
road.
traffic.
That's,
I know.
that's what
It's a
highways are
road.
for.
I understand that.
To have access
Instead
to
of
front
through
yard.
their backyard.
Sure. And, whatever happens, but I don't want to pass an ordinance by the city council to open North Lake Road. I would rather it be a vote of the people.
Okay.
If the people in Lakeside want it to happen, it'll happen.
Well, I guess we don't have to do this right away.
No.
We will wait for the May ballot and see what happens. But in the meantime, I would be out there promoting how it's improved the commerce in Lakeside and really hasn't been a burden for traffic-wise or that sort of stuff. As you say, I'm there once a month or once every couple times a month, and you're there every day, and you're saying it really hasn't had any impact at all. So I would go on that premise and tell people that if they don't notice. I mean, some people haven't been out of their houses in a while, I assume, but others are out there 3 or 4 times a day.
So it's certainly something we can consider, Mr. Commissioner.
Yeah, you go talk to whoever you know on every street up and down there. I used to be on 14th, talk to Stacy and shoot, I forgot his name now. It was next door. Used to work for the water board.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't recall his name either.
You talk to those folks, and then they can talk to then there's Bradley's, they're on 14th.
Yep.
They can talk to other people about it, and how it really hasn't impacted.
Yep.
And how good it would be to open it up and improve the whole city.
Thank you.
You had something to say, man?
Hello, my name is Alicia Douglas. Sorry.
Get a little closer, it doesn't
I'm
pick up
short.
well.
I'm also a member of the lovely ladies of Lakeside we've been working tirelessly in building up Lakeside advertising to the ATV groups. Like Shirley said, we're posting constantly about coming to the county park. We've been having a problem. We want to see the county park succeed. We want to see that beach full in the summer with kids. We want to see festivals. But that county park has a reputation now. Nobody wants to go there. Numerous people have been chased out by the camp hosts. People have been yelled at, bullied by the camp hosts. So it's already spread like wildfire that they are not wanted. ATVs are not wanted at the county park. We want to change that. We want Lakeside to be ATV friendly. We want it to prosper. We want the county to make money.
Is that what you're describing in recent times or way back?
Since the ATV ordinance has passed.
Okay.
It's not the policy of the parks. We want ATVs there, we just don't want them going next door. They can spend the money at the park, yeah,
Yes.
but they have to
we've
be
had-
shut down by 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
That's the only rules I know of, so.
We've had friends who have camped there, and even if their ATV is on a blade of grass, they get harassed.
I'll investigate that.
So and word of mouth spreads like wildfire.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, like, this past weekend, Riley Ranch was packed, Spin Rail was packed, Osprey was packed. There was nobody at our county park. We don't want that. We want people to come in.
Mhm.
We want
Okay.
them to spend the money here in Coos County.
And we want it full because the city gets a transit lodging tax too.
Exactly. We just wanna work to see Lakeside get better, that's
Mhm.
all. And, with the hole in the fence, we believe it's a waste of time, we
Mhm.
should open up North Lake because not only Osprey Point is off North Lake, we have a couple other RV parks. So why should they be discriminated against?
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Anybody on the phone want to comment, if you're on the phone? They must have hung up, I guess. Okay, so we want to get back together at what point?
Oh, I don't know, I think take some time to think about it and
Okay.
talk about it and.
We need to
and-
look at the, yeah,
Well, I think
but it might, if, what grants are available for North Lake, at least.
Yeah.
And I think hopefully it gets passed on the ballot. So
Mhm.
just-
Well, it was narrowly defeated, if I understand correctly, so, there's hope, because if they've seen what the non-impact of it is now, well, why not? It really isn't making any difference now, what else could it do? Might be a little more, yeah, a whole lot more, who knows? If you get really popular, but then that brings all kinds of commerce and also, so. I've talked to one person who's thinking of putting in one of those high octane gas pumps just for that. So
Yeah, and-
there's people waiting to see what's going to happen.
There is, and we've been, in the past, we've talked to other ATV dealerships trying to actually get an ATV dealer in the city of Lakeside, which I think if this does pass, I think it would be a great opportunity for somebody.
Mhm. Okay.
Pardon?
I know of a building there.
I'm sure you do.
Before we close, I don't know that everyone that's in the room now was in the room at the beginning, or just prior to the meeting, when we were talking, the commissioners were talking to Lori and James. And John, could you go over what we have planned for the park, what we've done already, what you have planned in the short term, and what your long-range plans are? Just so once more, everyone can hear what we have immediately planned and what we have long-range planned.
Short term is just gonna be plantings. We wanna put more trees in, a little bit more colorful. Maples, ash trees, sweet gum. In the future, we wanna take that AC section and make pull-throughs out of that for the bigger RVs and make roads around so they can get out. So that's pretty much within the next couple year plan, so.
Short term, you have some
And then we're gonna
improvements to
get
the
rid of
marina
some
area.
of the campsites that are so close together. We'll open it up a little bit, so.
Well, in the very short term, talk about the ramps and stuff. The
Oh,
boat ramps.
that's the boat ramp,
Yeah.
yeah. On the boat ramp, before July 1st, we got a grant for 2 aluminum gangways, brand new. Take those wood gangways out of there, and a ADA compliant kayak launch that'll go on the fishing dock. So that's gonna be a big improvement for that, so.
I know there's one going in Eel Lake, will 10 Mile getting one as well?
Yep,
What's
two.
that?
Yeah.
There'll be
Yeah.
Oh,
two,
there's one going in 10 Mile, I knew there was the Eel
Yep.
Lake one. That's in there. Okay.
one in each one.
One each place.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And then
John,
we'll
you've
put,
been
we'll put one at
improving-
the Powers Park too for the pond. That probably won't be ADA.
Yeah.
You've been improving the tables and whatnot in some of the parks.
Yeah.
Do you have anything scheduled for Lakeside?
Well, we've already did the fire pits. We put all new fire pits in instead of those concrete ones with the grate that folds in and out of. And we're putting all the tables we replace will be galvanized steel picnic tables that we can just replace the boards.
The old
Just bought
beat up-
100 of those this year.
You
so
talk about the old beat-up concrete ones?
Those are gone already.
Yeah, I know. You're gonna replace those, or you're talking about
We
over in the
replaced
camping
those
area?
with the ones we got from the BLM
Oh, okay.
already, so,
Mhm.
and put new concrete slabs down.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah,
Then-
I
I
would
mean,
like
there's a
to-
lot of work to do there, so we gotta,
Lots of
before we-
opportunities for improvement.
Oh, sorry. Before we close, I would like to make one more comment, and this is an email from Ian Caldwell. And he said he put some stats together on law enforcement in Lakeside for the time period July 1st, 2020 through today. And these are for the Dunes deputies, which are paid for by the state park ATV grant program. He said they made 54 OHB contacts, 17 OHB inspections, 8 citations, 22 warnings, and 50 total hours of patrol time. And Coos County has requested additional funding to add another deputy for the next 2 years, which has not been approved yet, but will be considered. So that's encouraging to us, that
And he's with state parks.
he's,
Ian
yes,
is, right?
yes.
What has that to do with funding for deputies?
Well, yeah, Ian Caldwell is with state parks, but he does, he has grants and a contract with the sheriff to supply deputies for the Dunes Patrol.
The Dunes is U.S. Forest Service,
Yeah,
but that's paid for by U.S. Forest Service dollars on the dune deputies.
yeah, but he allows them to come in the lakeside and enforce the.
Well, yeah, along the roadway, but as far as dunes enforcement, that's paid by the U.S. Forest Service.
Yeah, but I understand, I'm not sure if that was, those contacts were made on the dunes or in the city of Lakeside, because they were pretty
There were
active.
some
in-
of both,
They were pretty active in the
Yeah.
city of Lakeside,
but
which we
don't be
appreciate.
confused, because all dunes deputies are paid for by the U.S. Forest Service,
Right,
not by state parks.
right, yeah. So,
Anybody else have something to say? Comments, anything?
And I have one more question
John?
I'd like to ask.
Mhm.
And I haven't even talked to John about this, so it may not fit into his plans. But back to wind. To provide more wind protection for Wolfie Beach, what would you think about a row of, what's my favorite tree, John?
Leland Cypress.
Leland cypress
Cypress,
on
yeah.
the north side of the berm. It doesn't tie in too well with palm trees, but it certainly gives a lot more wind protection. And if you want a user-friendly beach, I think you ought to get the wind down to somewhere around 30, 35 miles an hour maximum. And that might help.
how tall do those trees grow, John?
They grow quite tall.
Okay, so they would be
probably-
above the berm?
Yeah, they would go well above the berm.
Okay, yeah.
And there's not a lot of room between the parking lot and the berm, so they're gonna be
You gotta
right
plant
at.
them far enough apart, they'll grow 30 feet wide, those trees. And the
Yeah.
ones that die because they're overwatered, they like dry soil. And our camp host was overwatering them. I
Drowned.
stopped them, so
Yeah, okay.
it'll kill those trees.
But
if
they're
you
good
overwater
trees,
them,
and
so.
they make great wind breaks,
Yeah.
and they stand up to the wind.
Oh, I think
And they
any-
will then they will increase our ability to put in prettier trees,
Yeah.
like the broadleaf, colorful fall color trees that John's talking
Yeah,
about.
and I agree with you. Whatever you can do to mitigate the wind blowing through there 50 miles an hour on a nice sunny day is, kind
Yeah.
of ruins the
Lady in the back?
experience.
I
Yeah.
think back to Mayor's point about the police presence is that basically Lakeside's getting a lot of paid for already police presence where, we don't have police presence there, but it
Yeah.
has increased a lot since the ATV has, come in. So we've seen a lot more police presence in Lakeside.
Which, what,
That might have been his point about
Which agencies?
When
So you're talking about OSP, the sheriff's office?
Yeah, when he was talking about how many calls
Okay.
that they
Yeah.
addressed, et
I know
cetera.
Sergeant Coleman was having to address the North Lake issue between Osprey and 8th Street. Mhm.
Yeah, Officer Coleman is a great guy, and he's told us that they have, allowed them to increase their patrol into Lakeside.
He is,
Basically,
he is the officer in charge of the Marine and Dunes deputies.
We welcome any additional police presence
Yes.
on Lakeside.
yeah.
Okay. Any other comments? Then we are adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you.
Hey, Chris, how are you doing?
Melissa,
Sounds like
Yes,
Chris.
sir.
our average capacity for the last 6 months is 33%.
Jim.
We've had some.
You always, you think I'm Chris,
I thought
I
you
sound
were
like Chris Barnett.
Chris Barnett, yes.
I just had, I emailed Tammy, and I'll check to see who's saying what to who. We want ATV people to camp there. We just don't wanna run under ATVs past Castle Rock.
I know you folks run the same thing. I think it's
Yeah,
good.
the quiet hours is from 10 to 7 in the morning. And you can't sit there and rev them. I know they've got on people revving them in campgrounds, so. But the dunes is, their hours are from midnight to 6. So actually, people can come into town and have at 11:30 at night, so.
I thought these were Lakeside Good Clothes. Jeez. Thank you.
You bet. Thanks for coming down.
I don't want them going through to somebody else. I want to spend the money at our place, so. We'll try to make our place look better, so. Give it a couple of years, it'll be better. It'll get there.